today I was thinking we would work on hips a little bit more, and we're going to start on our backs, and we'll work on the breathing first. So come onto your back and just have the feet on the ground so the knees are bent. So it's just like Shavasana except the knees are bent. And we're just going to just rest the hands on the belly to begin with. Eyes closed, and just start off regular breathing. So you want to try and keep length in the back of the neck, so if you need to, just tuck the chin a little, or even put a pillow or something underneath the head if you need to. So we're going to do what's called 3-part breath. So place one hand on the belly, and the other hand somewhere on the ribs. We're going to inhale and exhale through the nose. As you inhale, feel the belly rise, and then feel the lower chest rise, and then the upper chest. As you exhale through the nose, upper chest is sinking, and then the lower chest, and then the belly. Inhale into the belly, lower ribs, lower chest, upper chest. Exhale from the upper chest, lower chest, belly. Inhale belly, lower chest, upper chest. Exhale upper chest, lower chest, belly. Just do about 3 or 4 more rounds at your pace. Long, slow, deep breaths. One more. Now take the right leg up to the ceiling and hold on to the back of the leg. Now we're just going to work on the foot for a little bit. So we're going to point the toes towards the ceiling, plantar flexion, and then we point towards the face, dorsiflexion. And we're just going to repeat, pointing and flexing the foot. And then circle the foot in one direction. Just like you're drawing circles in the air with the toes. And then we circle in the other direction. And then we point and flex a few more times. And we switch legs, taking hold of the back of the other leg. You're pointing and you're flexing. Point and flex. Just repeat. And then circle one direction. And then the other direction. And then extend the legs on the ground. So this is a nice going to be a nice hip stretch, an easy hip stretch, and I actually call this fallen tree because it's like tree pose except we're lying down on the ground. And we're going to take the right leg and bring the foot inside that left leg and just let the knee come closer to the ground. So we're just getting a gentle stretch on the inside of that right hip. Nice easy stretch. If the knee is totally on the ground, if you're not feeling anything at all, no stretch at all, what you can do, you can bring that right foot on top of the left leg, just above the knee. See how that feels. But as I say, it's up to you. If you prefer the foot on the ground, that's fine. and then we're going to switch legs. So this is a nice gentle stretch. Now we're bringing the left foot onto the inside of the right leg, just above the knee. Just letting that hip open, you're not forcing the leg down, you're just letting gravity pull that knee towards the ground. And if you want, you can take the foot on top of the leg. And it just lets the hip go a little bit deeper if you do that. So this is stretching the inside of the hip. The outside of the hip, if you bring the feet to the ground and the feet pretty wide apart, almost to the edge of the mat, wider than hips, feet are in, and we just windshield wipe. We do this quite often. So we're just taking the knees from side to side, and you're going to get a little bit of a stretch on the outside of the hip on this one. We're just going slowly, we're moving with the breath. Inhale as the knees come up, exhale as they go down. And then center the feet, get them a little bit closer so they're hip width apart. You're going to bring the outer of the right foot onto the left leg. You're going to keep the left foot on the ground, and we're going to place the right hand onto the inside of the right thigh. We're just going to start pushing that leg away. Feeling the opening of the inside of that right hip. You're keeping that right foot flexed, dorsiflexion. Hold for about 3 or 4 breaths. And we switch legs, bringing the outer of the left ankle onto the right leg, left foot flexed, pushing that left leg away, opening that left hip. And we release. So we're going to do a little bit of isometric work to strengthen the legs. We're going to pull the knee, let the knees come in. You bring in the hands either side of the leg, so the palms on the outside of the thighs, just below the knees. There's a gap between the knees, and you're going to try and push those knees together, push those legs together. Arms working as much as you can. The legs are always stronger. So you're going to feel those arms working for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we make fists. You bring the fists inside the legs, just below the knees again. And this time we try and separate the legs, again using as much arm strength as you can. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We bring the hands behind the back of the legs, and then we're pulling the legs in with the hands, or we're trying to. And this time you're going to feel that core working as well. So a lot of core working in this one as well. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you try and push the legs away. Again, core is working. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we bring the feet down to the ground. We bring the hands behind the head. And we come into this scoopy position. So the legs are straight, feet are off the ground, head is off the ground. You're pushing the lower back into the ground, abs of steel. You're working a lot for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly come all the way down. Take a full body stretch. Reaching with the arms and reaching with the legs. Walk the feet in, knees come in, hold on to the back of the legs and rock yourselves up. So, happy Saturday. Oh, so something I should mention. I don't know if some of you probably know that this happened to me like a few years ago. Is I got up out of bed and everything went sort of really dizzy, really whooshy, and I actually lost my balance and I fell over. Fortunately, I fell back onto the bed, and it turned out that it was something called uh, it's like a vertigo, BPV, positional vertigo, benign. That's it. BPV, benign positional vertigo. That's what it was. And what happens when that happens, and it tends to be just for older people like me. What happens is you get this little crystal in the canal of the ear, and that throws your balance off. So it was really bad at that time, and it was fortunate in that that day or the following day, my wife went on a walk with one of her friends who was a physical therapist, and she'd had that issue, and she said there's a certain maneuver, I think it's called the epi maneuver, where you can move the head to get that crystal out of the ear channel, and that really was like a miracle. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because this is happening to me again a couple of days ago, not as severe, but if I suddenly get up quickly I feel a bit whooshy. So if you notice I'm sort of moving around weirdly, that's the reason. So I've got to get my wife to help me do that little maneuver again. My wife's friend Carol said she had a patient come in and she'd been suffering with these symptoms for quite some time, and this patient didn't know about this maneuver, and she said it worked wonders for her. So anyway, if you have any issues with your balance, it might be this BPV. Having said all that, digressed a little bit, let's stretch the hands out. So we're going to sit on the heels, knees apart, and we're going to bring the hands between the legs so that fingers are pointing towards the toes. The inside of the heels are more or less in line with the knees, and we're just going to feel that stretch in the wrist. So I do this a lot before I do like the wheel pose or before crow. Not that we're going to do crow today necessarily. But it stretches the wrists out, especially good for people with tight wrists. Some of you might not feel this, but some of you, if you've got tight wrists, you could feel this. If it feels too much, you bring the heels up the sit bones up off the heels. If you want to go a little deeper, you bring the sit bones closer to the heels. As I say, if you're super flexible, you might not be feeling much, so lucky you. But this is a really good stretch for me. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to push the thumb a little bit harder into the ground, then index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, and again thumb, and then fingers, index, middle, ring, pinky finger. One more time. Thumb into the ground, harder, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger. And then we're just going to lift the heels of the hands up, just stretching the fingers out. So this is going to stretch all the fingers out, except the thumb is left out. So just so the thumb doesn't get upset, we give the thumb a little bit of an extra stretch. So I'm just pushing the thumb away, stretching the thumb out, and then stretch the other thumb out. It's a really nice hand stretch. I like to do that. I do that a lot. And then we're just going to rest the hands on the knees, just work on the shoulders a little bit. So I'm working on one shoulder at a time. As you know, I like to work on one shoulder. I'm bringing it forward, up, back and down. Getting a good rotation there. And then working on the other shoulder. It's feeling good. There we go. So we're doing a lot of mat stuff to begin with, right? Okay, so let's just work on the neck. If you want to sit with the legs crossed, you can. I'm going to stay sitting on the heels. If you want to stay on the heels and this does bother the knees, what you could do is put a little rolled up towel or something right onto the inside of the knees. Also, if this bothers the feet, you could put a little towel underneath the inside of the ankle. But this is because this is going to stretch out the knees and it's going to stretch out the feet. So we're sitting tall, and we're just going to bring the right ear to the right shoulder, feeling stretched down the left side of the neck. And then we're going to bring so we're going to keep the side stretch, but we're bringing the head slightly forward. And then we're going to bring the head slightly back. We inhale the head back up to center, and we go over to the other side, stretching out the right side of the neck. And we bring this head slightly forward. So just getting a different stretch here. And then we bring the head back. And then we inhale up to neutral. And then we're going to turn the head looking over the right shoulder. So you're trying to look with the eyes behind you. You're getting tall. Shoulders are soft. Inhale back to center. Exhale as you turn in the other direction. Inhale back to center. Exhale chin to chest. Inhale, head comes up, and if the neck is good, you can slowly take the head back. And then we come back to neutral. We interlace the fingers, we push the palms, extend the arms and the palms forward, so we're stretching the hands out again, shoulders retracted back slightly. We bring the arms up. We're trying to frame the face. Whether don't bring the arms too far back if it bothers the shoulders. You've got to take care of yourselves. I'm always saying that. We keep the fingers interlaced. We bring the arms down. We turn the palms up to the ceiling. Elbows in nice and close. Another hand stretch. And then we just shake the hands out. So let's work on the core a little bit. So come on, face down. Come into Sphinx. So the elbows are under the shoulders. And then what I'd like you to do is to make fists with the hands, or if you prefer you can get the palms down, it's up to you. We tuck the toes, we're going to come into a forearm plank. We lift those hips up not too high, chin is tucked, you're looking at the mat, core is engaged, you're breathing. And for those that want a little bit more challenge, we bring the right leg up, don't have to take it up too high, for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We switch legs for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We bring that foot down, hips down, and we totally relax. Take a few deep breaths. We bring the hands underneath the shoulders and we come onto our hands and knees, and we're going to do cat-cow a few times. Inhale, belly down, head up. Exhale as you round the back and tuck the chin. Inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. Inhaling cow, exhaling cat. Take your time, you're moving with the breath, trying to get that wave-like motion working from the base of the spine into the neck. Inhaling, belly down, head up. Exhaling as you round the back and tuck the chin. This time as you inhale, you're going to bring that right leg up, and on the exhale, right knee comes in. Inhale, extending. Exhale, knee comes in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. We switch legs. Inhaling as the other leg comes up. Exhale as the knee comes in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Come into child's pose. Toes touching, knees apart, rest the head on the ground or the hands. Take about 3 breaths. And then we come back onto our hands and knees. We tuck the toes, we're in downward facing dog. So start looking at the hands, keep every finger pushed into the ground, especially the thumb and the index finger. Then you tuck the chin, looking towards the belly button. And then we pull the armpits towards the ground, external rotation of the arms. We're getting a little bit more length. We bring the feet a little bit closer, so there's a couple of inches between the big toes. We bring the right leg up to the ceiling. We stack the hips. And you're bending that top knee. You're breathing. We're opening up that hip. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We switch legs. Other leg comes up. We stack the hips. We're bending that top knee. You're still keeping your hands solidly on the ground. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Top foot joins the bottom foot. We look forward between the hands. We inhale halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Half salute. You can stay on the mat. Inhale, sweeping those arms up. Look up. Exhale, we're hinging at the hips. We're folding forward and down. Head relaxed. Inhale, halfway up, flat back. Exhale, we fold forward again. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward again. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. So I think I'm just going to move this microphone. I hope it's not blocking the camera's view. There we go. Okay, let's come into chair pose. So knees are bent. If you look down, you can see the toes. So if not, take the knees back. And we bring those arms up. We inhale. And on the exhale, we fold forward and down. We inhale halfway up. And on the exhale, we're going to plant the hands. And we're going to walk back into plank. We bring the knees down, the chin chest comes down and up, so we're coming into cobra, and we exhale into downward facing dog. We bring the right leg up to the ceiling, and then we're going to sweep that right foot between the hands, and we're going to come into warrior one. So the warrior poses, they give us a nice hip opening. So you're going to feel the stretch on the inside of that back, the hip of that back leg. If you want, you can bring the palms together, you can look up, have a little bit of a back bend, or you can have the arms parallel looking forward. It's up to you. we come into Warrior Two. Now Warrior Two, I tend to go a little bit wider with the legs. I'm trying to get that right knee at 90, and I'm not surfing. If you notice, my torso is nice and vertical. I'm not leaning forward like this. And then I'm going to look over that right side. So what we're going to do here, we're going to add eagle arms. So now I look to the side, and I'm going to bring that left arm under the right arm, getting the hands parallel, getting a bit of a shoulder stretch. And then we come back into Warrior Two. We'll do a reverse warrior, and we'll hold for a breath or two. And then we come into plank. Chaturanga on knees, chin, chest to ground. Inhale into cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up to the ceiling. Exhale, we sweep that foot through. We're in Warrior One on the other side. Bit of a back bend. And then we come into Warrior Two. Keeping those shoulders soft, but lines of energy through the arms. We look to the side and we bring the right arm under the left arm, eagle arms. And you're going to feel a stretch across the shoulder blades on this one. Back into Warrior Two, reverse warrior for a breath or two. And then we come into plank, and we're going to hold plank. So nice, like a nice plank of wood. And we're just going to drop between the shoulder blades. And then we're going to come back up. And we're dropping between the shoulder blades. And then we come back up. And we drop one more time. And we come back up. And then child's pose. We come up, we sit on the heels. We bring the hands behind, so the fingers are pointing to the front of the mat. Fingers are in line with the toes, elbow slightly bent, chin tucked as we open the chest. And if you want, you can take the head back. Another option is to bring the hips up. You're breathing. Expanding the whole front body should feel good. And then the sit bones come down if they're up. And we come back into child's pose. We come back onto the hands and knees. Downward facing dog. We walk forward between the hands. Inhale halfway up. Exhale folding forward. Knees stay bent. As we come back up into chair. And then Samasthiti. Knees bent. Inhale chair. Exhale folding forward and down. Inhale halfway up. Exhale we fan the hands. We're in plank. Chaturanga or knees, chin, chest to ground. Inhaling into cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, we sweep that foot through. We come into Warrior One. And then we exhale, Warrior Two. Inhale, reverse warrior. And then this time extended side angle pose. Right forearm to that front knee, extend that top arm. Look up towards that top hand. Keep that top hand lined up with the arm. Straight line from that top hand all the way through that shoulder to that back foot. If you want to go a little deeper, if you can go a little deeper, you can slide that lower arm inside or outside the leg. If it's inside the leg, you can push the arm into the leg, you can push the leg into the arm. You're looking up towards the ceiling. We come back into warrior 2. Reverse warrior. And then, yeah, let's just flow to the other side. We'll come back into plank. Chaturanga, down slowly, elbows in. Upward facing dog, opening that chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Don't forget, keep the core engaged as you transition. We bring the left leg up to the ceiling. We sweep that foot through, back foot is in. Warrior 1, other side. On your next exhale, warrior 2. We do a reverse warrior and then extended side angle pose. Try not to let that left butt stick out. We're reaching straight line through that top hand, all the way through that arm, shoulder, hip, back foot. And maybe let that lower hand slide down to the ground. We come back up into warrior 2, reverse warrior, and then we come into plank. Chaturanga, you bring the whole body forward. You start to bend the elbows, keeping the elbows in. Elbows to 90 degrees if you can. Inhaling into upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath or two here. You can do child's pose if you want. You can do an extra vinyasa if you want. The vinyasa is plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. We look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, folding forward, knees stay bent. We're back in chair, and then we come all the way up. So let's go into chair. We're going to do a chair twist. We're bending the knees again. We're bringing the arms up. So if this bothers the shoulders, just bring the arms forward, or you can have the hands on the knees. You can have the palms together, whichever you prefer. I like the arms up. We'll do a chair twist. So we're going to bring the right arm onto the outside of that left leg. So you're trying to get a little bit of leverage. So if you can get that arm onto the outside of the leg, you can get a little bit more leverage. You can go a little deeper into that twist. We then look at the feet, and we're going to take that right foot back, coming into crescent twist. If you want that bottom knee down, you can take the bottom knee down to the ground. If you want, you can bring that lower arm down and the left arm up, and you can look up towards the ceiling. We come back into plank. Chaturanga, inhaling to up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold down dog. And then on the other side, we just walk forward between the hands. We come halfway up, we fold forward, we're back in chair. They've just got a different view of me, that's all. And then we do the twist on the other side. So we're going to twist towards your right side. So bring that left arm on the outside of the right leg. Trying to get that arm outside the leg if you can. So we're getting to a little bit more of a twist. We then take the left leg back. A little bit of a tricky transition, but just do what you can. We maybe go a little deeper into that twist, and if you want, bottom arm comes down, top arm comes up, and you breathe. We bring the palms together, we bring the hands down, we're back in plank. Chaturanga, inhaling into up dog, exhale, downward facing dog. Take down dog a breath or two, get your breath back. And then bring the knees down. What we're going to do, we're going to do a little bit more of a hip opener. We're going to go into recline pigeon. So we'll be on our backs. And we do this quite often. I also call it a figure 4. So you're on your back, you're going to bring the right foot onto the left leg. So we started off like this. Remember, we push the leg away. But this time we're going to take hold of the back of the left leg and we're going to pull the legs in. The foot close to you is flexed. You're trying to keep the tailbone as low to the ground as you can as you pull those legs in. So on this one you should be feeling a stretch on the outside of that right hip. If you're not feeling much of a stretch and you want to go a little deeper, what you could do, and this is for people that are super flexible, is you could hug that leg that's close to you. So I'm bringing, so my right foot is on the inside of my left elbow, my right knee is on the inside of my right elbow, and then I'm interlacing the fingers and I'm pulling the leg towards me. So you can get a deeper stretch. You want to try and keep the tailbone pretty low to the ground. So you can get a deeper stretch in that. Most of you are probably just going to be holding onto the inside of that left thigh. Or you can hold on to the shin, the left leg below the knee, but make sure the knee's okay with that. And we switch legs. We bring both feet to the ground. We bring the left leg, the outer of the ankle, to the right leg. We hold on to the back of the right leg. You're pulling those legs in. So we're keeping the chin tucked, lengthening the neck. We're trying to keep the tailbone down. And we're flexing that left foot. Flex as much as you can. That keeps the knee nice and safe. And those of you that are okay with a deeper stretch, you can hug that leg. And you can pull it in a little bit closer. But you're keeping that, you always keep that left foot nicely flexed. Pulling the toes in towards the shin. This is reclined pigeon. So what we're going to do next, we're going to work our way into regular pigeon. So take hold of the knees and rock yourself up. If regular pigeon is a little bit tough for you, your hips don't like it, you could just do that reclined pigeon again. So regular pigeon, I'm just going to change views a little bit. So let's get ourselves into downward facing dog. Bring the right leg up to the ceiling, extended down dog, and then we're going to bring that knee in. So as we do this pigeon quite often. So as I say, my right knee is on the outside of my right hip. For me, that's good. If it's too much for your knee or too much for your groin, you pull the knee more to center, so it can be at this point rather than this point. You always want to keep the hips nice and even, so try not to lean over from one side to the other side. There might be a gap between the ground and that right sit bone, so you could slide a book or something underneath if you want, if it's more comfortable. So raised pigeon, we're getting a little bit of a back bend. I'm tucking the toes of the back foot. I'm pushing the toes into the ground. I'm trying to grab the ground and walk that foot back. Just so I'm stretching out that the front of that left hip a little bit more. So you're getting a stretch on the front of the back of the left hip and the outside of the right hip. Lots of stretches going on here. Extended pigeon. And we're coming down and you're resting the head on the hands or on the ground. We come back up and then we're going to take hold of that left foot with the left hand. You can take hold of the inside of the foot, which I prefer, and you pull that foot in towards you. So a little deeper stretch. And then we're going to switch. We're going to take hold of the foot with the other hand, but this time instead of pulling the foot in, you're pushing the foot away from you. So we're adding a little bit of a twist. And we release. We come into downward facing dog. We walk the dog, pedaling the feet. We bring, which leg did we have up this time? We had that one up. So we bring the left leg up, and then we bring that knee forward. Sometimes I get lefts and rights mixed up. I do both sides twice, one side twice, forget the other side, but here I'm pretty sure I've got it right, so yes. So this left knee is outside the left hip. For me, if that's a problem with your groin, you bring the knee close to center, don't forget. And then next I'm tucking the toes of the back foot, I'm grabbing the floor or the mat, trying to walk that foot back a little bit, just to get a little bit more traction. Opening the chest, lifting up, and then we're folding forward, extended pigeon. And don't forget, if this bothers the knee, you just modify it as you need to, or you could come into that reclined pigeon. And we'll just hang out here. We come up. Now this is totally optional. If you want to just hang out in reclined pigeon, that's fine. Or if you want to get a little bit deeper quad stretch and stretching out the front of that hip, you take hold of the inside of that back foot with the right hand and you're pulling that foot in towards you. You can get quite a stretch on this one, so please don't let it be too intense. And then we're going to switch, holding on to the foot with the other hand. Again, I'm holding on to the inside of the foot, but this time I'm pushing the foot into the hand and I'm opening up. So I'm adding a little spiral action, a little bit of a twist here. That back leg is working a lot. I'm really pushing that foot into the hand. And we release. We come back into down dog and walk the dog. And then we're just going to come into cross-legged seated position. So Baddha Konasana, we're going to work our way into Baddha Konasana. Some of you might need to sit on the block. As I say, if you're in Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose, in Baddha Konasana the feet are together and you're creating a diamond shape with the legs, and you can hold onto the feet or the just onto the shin. We're trying to sit up tall, we're trying to bring the knees down. So if your back is rounded, if your knees are up, you need to sit on something, a block or a book or something. I like to bring my feet fairly close in, so if that's good for you, you can bring the feet in a little bit closer. And also I like to hold on to the outside of the feet. I'll rock from side to side a few times. As I rock, my feet are getting in a little bit closer still. I then use a lot of arm strength. I'm trying to pull those hips forward. I'm trying to get the back neutral, getting tall, and then I'm just letting those hips come closer to the ground. You want to imagine you're breathing into the hips. So you're inhaling, getting tall. Exhale, you're just letting those knees come a little closer to the ground. Inhale. Exhale. Stay in Baddha Konasana. I'm just going to show you guys something. So if you have something that can support your back, so this sofa is against the wall, so it's nicely supported. What you could do, you could sit against something that supports your back against the wall maybe. It helps keep the back neutral, and you can bring the hands onto the inside of the legs. And I'm not using a lot of pressure, but I'm just encouraging the knees a little bit closer to the ground. So this really helps to get that, keep that back a little bit more neutral, a little bit safer. I'm feeling the inside of the hips open. Okay, another nice hip stretch. Might be a little bit of challenge for you guys, but let's see. This time we're keeping that, so I'm using the right leg, so I'm keeping the shin of the right leg parallel to the edge of the mat. And then I'm bringing the other foot on top, the other leg on top. And it's almost on top of the knee, or just slightly below the knee. And there's a bit of a gap here. What we're trying to eventually do is to close that gap like this. I'm just bringing that knee down. If this is too much, you can just sit with the legs crossed. Do whatever feels good for you. If you ever want to go or try lotus, is you want to be able to do this pose first. You want to be able to get that contact between the two legs before you're ready for lotus. If your knees up like this, you won't go down any further. Lotus is not the pose for you, because what happens if you go into lotus and your hips are not open enough, it's going to put too much pressure on the knee and it's going to bother your knee. So please always be careful if you go into or attempt lotus pose. Other side. So the left leg, the shin of the left leg is parallel to the edge of the mat, the front edge or the side, depending on how you're sitting. Right, outer right heel on top, and then I want to try and close this gap. I'm not using a lot of pressure. It's going down easily. The knee's fine. I'm not forcing it, but it springs up if I don't put a little bit of pressure there. And I feel this on the inside of the hips, a little bit of stretch on both hips. As I say, if this is too intense, you can just be with the legs crossed. And then we release. Actually, we've got time. Let me show you standing pigeon, another pigeon pose. It's like the reclined pigeon, except we're standing instead of lying down. And with the standing pigeon, I usually have a block handy. If you don't have a block, no worries. And we could start off with the block at its fullest height. And we're standing on the right foot, the knee is bent, and the left foot comes on top. So it's basically that figure 4, except we're standing. This foot is really flexed. I start off with both hands on that top leg, the back is neutral, and as you go deeper, as you bend that standing knee a little bit more, you're going to feel more and more stretch on the outside of the left hip. So the deeper you go, the more you bend the knee, the more stretch you're going to go. So the block is there just to help you keep the balance. You can lower the block, so it's a low height. You can bring the fingers onto the ground. And this is quite a stretch on the hip. And then eventually, which I've probably shown you guys, is we can do a hand balance. We can come into flying pigeon. I'm not going to do that today. And then we slowly come back up. And we switch legs. You can shake the legs out first if you want, the arms, the shoulders. And we're on the left foot, right foot is on top. Knee of the standing leg is bent, this top foot is flexed, and you just start off just resting the hands on that top leg. You're trying to keep the back pretty neutral, try not to round the back too much. And if you want to go deeper, you can start off with the block at its fullest height. And the block is there just to keep you balanced. And if you want to go even deeper, you lower the block or you bring the fingers down onto the mat. This is quite a stretch, but this is one of the poses I like. You can add, as I say, you could do flying pigeon. Another thing you could do is you could bring your arm against that foot and you could add a twist as well. Lots of things going on there. But we'll save that for another time. Come on to your back. Take a full body stretch. Reaching with the arms, reaching with the legs. So we're going to try and get a little bit more length here. We're pushing the heels into the ground. We're lifting the hips up and we're pulling the hips away from the feet. Then we push the head into the ground, the back comes up and we're pulling the back away from the hips. Finally, we lift the head up, tuck the chin, lower the head. I call this like a caterpillar action. Hips are coming up away from the feet, and then the back is pulling away from the hips, and then we lengthen the neck. And it feels like you're getting more length. I'm sure that's happening. We take a bit of a side stretch. We shift the hips over in one direction, getting into that banana shape. And then we stretch out the other side. Bringing stretch down the outside of that of the body, the ribs and the hips. We recenter. We pull the knees in. We're going to go into happy baby. This is another hip opener. We hold on to the feet. The feet are wide apart. The knees are outside the ribs. And you can hold on to the inside or the outside of the feet. Tailbone is close to the ground, as close as you can get. Shoulders, head is on the ground. And then if you want, you can straighten the legs into a V, or at least get them a bit straighter, holding onto the feet or onto the big toes. Again, tailbone low. Shoulders pulled away from the head, and you're getting a stretch down probably the back of the legs, maybe the inside of the legs. You want to try and keep the tailbone down. So it's almost like you're trying to lift the lower back off the ground, trying to do that dog tilt. And then we bend the knees. And I always have to do boat after this one. I can't resist it. We hold on the back of the legs and we just rock ourselves into boat, doing a little bit of core work. You can keep hold of the back of the legs, or the arms either side of the legs, opening the chest. And the straighter the legs go, the more you have to work. So just do what feels good for you. Opening that chest, breathing. The higher the legs, the more you're going to have to work on this one. And then we're going to lower very slowly. And we're back into that scoopy action. Hands behind the head. You're pushing the lower back into the ground. Legs are straight for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We come all the way down. We pull the knees in. So let's take a little bit of a twist before we settle into Shavasana. Let's extend the right leg on the ground. Left knee is pulled in close. We shift the hips over to the left slightly, and we take that left knee over to the side as you extend the opposite arm, looking over that left shoulder. Palm is up. You want to keep both shoulders on the ground. I'd rather the shoulders be grounded than the knee on the ground. If you can't keep the shoulder down, or you bother the shoulder, you can take that left hand and bring it onto the ribs. We unwind. We pull both knees in. We rock from side to side. And then the twist on the other side. We start off with the left leg extended, right knee pulled in. We shift the hips over to the right. And then we take the knee over to one side as we extend the opposite arm, looking over that shoulder. Palm up. Take a few breaths. Pulling the shoulder away from the head, opening that chest. You have to work at twists. And we unwind. Finally, knees come in. We rock from side to side. We take another stretch for a breath or two. And then Shavasana, bringing your arms either side of you, palms up, chin tucked, and just totally relax, eyes closed. If your mouth is lips are a bit dry, just lick the lips. And then focus on the breath. You're not controlling the breath, but try to keep focus on the breath. That'll keep you more present. And then just scan the body. Just letting every limb relax, everywhere get soft, no tension. We're trying to meld with the earth, trying to become one with the earth. Keep that face soft. And then let's take a couple of deeper breaths. Walk the feet in. And just roll over to one side. Take a breath or two. And then gently push yourself into a seated position. Inhale as the arms come up. Exhale, palms to chest. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep the palms together. Palms at the chest. Let's take 3 Oms. Inhale. Bring the hands to the forehead. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'll see you guys next week. Good job.